Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 226 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. For the latest weekly news of the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, college sports, WNBA, this is the podcast to be. So, we're going to start off with a little playoff baseball score update. How about the Milwaukee Brewers? They might be in a boatload of trouble because the Los Angeles Dodgers just beat them 3-1, and they're down 3-0 in the series. Jacob Mizorowski took the loss today, pitched 5 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, one of them earned, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. Alex Visa, who got the win, pitched in zero point 0.2 innings, allowed a hit and a strikeout. Roki Sasaki got the save, pitched an inning, struck out one batter. And then the true Dodgers starting pitcher, Tyler Glasnow, lasted 5.2 innings, allowed 3 hits, one earned run, 8 strikeouts, 3 walks. I mean, I as much as I would like to think the Brewers will make a comeback, but the Dodgers are just too good. Let me know, are the Dodgers back-to-back champions? And also, can the Seattle Mariners can they keep the series lead together? Even though right now they are down 8-2 against the Toronto Blue Jays, top of the eighth inning, at the time of this recording. Okay. Now, before we go to the power rankings, there were some NHL signings that we have missed that we are going to talk about, including one NBA. And then one baseball fact I also wanted to bring you guys on today is it involves Mike Trout. Here's the crazy part about Mike Trout. The only major league team Mike Trout, there's only two teams Mike Trout has never hit a home run against. Obviously, the Los Angeles Angels. However, did you know he's never hit a home run against the Pittsburgh Pirates? In fact, one home run against the Cubs, two against the Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Braves, Phillies, Padres, and the Reds. He has three against the Nationals. He has four against the Marlins, the Brewers, six against the Mets, seven against the Giants and Rockies, eight against the Twins, 10 against the Dodgers, 11 against the Yankees and Cleveland Guardians, 14 against the Boston Red Sox, 16 against the Kansas City Royals and the Detroit Tigers, 19 against the Chicago White Sox, 20 against the Toronto Blue Jays, excuse me, 27 against the Tampa Bay Rays, 29 against the Baltimore Orioles, 30 against the Houston Astros, 42 against the Athletics, 46 against the Rangers, and 56 against the Seattle Mariners. Let's go to some of the NHL signings that we have missed, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. So, Kirill Kaprizov obviously signed an 8-year, $136 million extension. And I think this is a good one. Good bargaining at the end of the day. The Minnesota Wild could not afford to lose their superstar in Kirill Kaprizov. So, sorry, I like this signing a lot. I think this is truly the help for Minnesota in the future with him and Matthew Boldy and Marco Rossi being their next big core along with Brock Faber. This is a good sign. And the Minnesota Wild have also re-signed Philip Gustafson to a 5-year, $6.8 million AAV. I like this sign. I think this is very good. And then at the end of the day, I think this move will pan out for the Minnesota Wild. So the Edmonton Oilers, we're going to go to them because they made 2 to 3 signings. One of them I was able to understand. Well, one I was a bit surprised. The other I was kind of scratching my head. So let's get the biggest one out of the way. Connor McDavid. The Edmonton Oilers are going to keep their captain around for 2 more years at an AAV of 12 and a half. I'm shocked that McDavid only signed a 2-year. That seems so much of a friendly deal. Maybe it's also because of the Oilers' timeline on when he thinks they're going to win. And Connor McDavid is one of the best players in the NHL. I I like this move a lot. And I think he's 1,000% worth every penny. But this is the one that confused me a bit. The Oilers also signed defenseman Jake Wallman to a 7-year deal, 49 million, so that's 7 million average per year. Now, he had 18 points through 37 games with the Oilers last season. I'm kind of confused by this because offensively, Jake Wallman is fantastic, but defensively, he almost brings you next to nothing. So I'm kind of concerned about Stan Bowman's thought process of giving Jake Wallman 7 million when he almost brings you next to nothing defensively. Although offensively, he's pretty solid. So that overall just did not make any sense, in my opinion. And then the two more re-signings. Actually, here's another one. Matthias Ekholm signs a 3-year, $4 million deal AAV, which that brings it 12 to total. Ekholm has been great ever since becoming an Edmonton Oiler. And, he's done well offensively. He's done pretty solid defensively for the Oilers. So I think this is also a good bargaining move on the Edmonton Oilers part. All right, two more extensions. Kyle Connor re-signs with the Winnipeg Jets for 8 years, $12 million AAV. So, fact, it's the biggest deal in franchise history at $12 million AAV. And I like this a lot. Kyle Connor, one of the best left wing, right wing forwards in the NHL. He's played a little bit of both. Kyle Connor had 97 points through 82 games last season. So I like this a whole lot from the Winnipeg Jets standpoint. And he's basically going to retire as a Winnipeg Jet, which is fantastic to see. Next up, Jack Eichel is staying in Vegas for 8 years at $13.5 million. So Jack Eichel, I think this is a good one. The contract's not going to start until the 2026-27 season, and he'll have the third highest AAV behind Kirill Kaprizov and Leon Draisaitl. So with that all being said, I think Jack Eichel, I think he's a really good offensive player. He has all the talent in the world to create offensive chances for the Las Vegas Golden Knights and also when healthy. That's really the biggest issue with him is that he hasn't been able to stay healthy too much throughout his entire career. So I like this gambling a bit from the Las Vegas Golden Knights. I think this is a good move. Next up, Jack Roslovic signed a 1-year, $1.5 million AAV with the Edmonton Oilers. I'm really shocked that it took Jack Roslovic this long to sign a contract, but anyway, I'm fine with it. 1 year proven deal, and if he does great, that is awesome. And if he doesn't, then oh well. That's how I look at it. All right. We are now going to go to the NFL power rankings heading into, I believe, week 7, if I'm not mistaken. Or week 8. I've lost track at this point. All right. Number 32 and 31. I have both New York teams. I have the Jets, the winless Jets at last place because this team needs serious help. The Jets, I feel so bad for the fan base for what they've had to go through. The Giants couldn't really hold on. I have the Las Vegas Raiders at 30, which to me that is a bit of a concern if I was a Las Vegas Raider fan. The Tennessee Titans, 29, Cleveland Browns at 28. Both, they're not expected to be good this year, so didn't make a whole lot of a difference in terms of their matches. The Cincinnati Bengals at 26. They almost beat the Packers, but the Packers still dominated over the Bengals. I have the Arizona Cardinals at 25. They almost got the win, but then they got upset last minute against the Colts. The Miami Dolphins at 24. I don't know if there's any hope for them this season. Carolina Panthers at 23. I have the Baltimore Ravens at 22, which that's a big ouch, especially a 17-3 loss to the Los Angeles Rams against the Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens. They're in a lot of trouble without Lamar Jackson. Dallas Cowboys at 21. They lost to the Panthers, so and I'm just wasn't impressed with their overall effort. The Houston Texans at 20. I hope they can get it together, but they did look pretty solid in their last match. The Chicago Bears at 19. Hey, kudos to all the Bear fans. They're over 500 for the first time in a while. Yeah, I I think they got the win pretty good. New England Patriots at 18, Pittsburgh Steelers at 17, Atlanta Falcons 16, Minnesota Vikings number 15, even though they had a bye week. Kansas City Chiefs 14, Seattle Seahawks 13, Los Angeles Chargers 12, Washington Commanders 11, San Francisco 49ers at number 10, Los Angeles Rams at number 9, Denver Broncos at number 8, Buffalo Bills at number 7, a bit of a big drop from where I last had them ranked. Indianapolis Colts at number 6. I mean, they've shown they're for real so far. The Detroit Lions at number 5, Jacksonville Jaguars at number 4. Gotta give it to them where credit is due. Green Bay Packers at number 3, Philadelphia Eagles at number 2, and the best team in the NFL, in my opinion, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, excuse me, let me know your thoughts and opinions on Twitter at Billman Sports, Instagram at Billman Sports Guy, and here on YouTube at Billman Sports Guy about all the moves that we talked about today, which this concludes episode number 226 of Billman the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Billman the Sports Guy. For the latest weekly news of the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, college sports, and WNBA, this is the podcast to be. Stay tuned for episode number 227. Peace.